show out in a minute to 2 minutes. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on. Something's happening. Whew, sweating like a dog. Let's see. Okay, we got. Sweating like a dog. Okay, so we got 6 people in the house. It's 11 o'clock in New York City. You're not in New York City. Where are you at?
I'm in Minnesota, so it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock here.
Oh, you're Central Time. That's
yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. We got Eileen's in the house. Paul Castaneda's in the house. Fiona Carthrew's in the house. Why isn't this working properly? All right, let me go ahead and come back in. 16 and counting. Whew, man, that was a big wave. Ricky Hint, Laurel Gale, Catarina Del Amor, Kim Longo. Okay, got 23 people in the house. Welcome, everybody. If these shows resonate with you, please share. Thank you for your continued love, support, and contribution so we can keep doing what we're doing. We're looking to launch this thing middle of April, so we're excited about that. We have Julie Lyden back with us after she was with us last month for the first time and popped her cherry. I'm just winging it. I'm winging it here. I just went through a massive, whatever that was, a wave, a physical body wave. My body's been taking a beating the last 3 or 4 days. So what's been going on? Welcome back. Pardon my manners, but I'm just coming out of a super spaghetti bowl vortex. I don't know what happened.
It's all good. It's all good. All we can do is go moment to moment here. I mean,
I know.
You know, it's just hands up in the air, surrender, just ride it. That's all you can do. But, you know, we're in this month of 4, right? And in the essential clock, 4 is about unify. And so unite. And so what is really getting hammered this month is everything on this planet to start to unite. Well, I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of separation here.
Yeah, of course there has been.
It's been the name of the game.
Yeah. I'm just trying to pull together, unify my heart and my head or whatever, my left and right, or my feet and my head. I don't know. Just keep it local.
Right. Well, and as within, so without, right? So the physical, what my remembering is the soul energy, which really full force came into bodies starting in January. I mean, it has been coming in, and for different people, it's been in different degrees. But everybody, the soul is just remembered what it's time for.
Yeah.
It's like the soul alarm went off. And so what I see is the soul's energy has fully embodied the body. Well, I don't know about you, but the soul vibrates at a very different frequency than our human did.
Sure does.
Right.
Sure does.
Right? So what's happening? It's pushing out every nook and cranny of illusion, of density, of false beliefs, of anything that isn't true. And this is the great purge.
Yeah,
it's the great purge.
Could be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever chill.
Right.
I mean, like for me, I know for me, it's been a lot of body stuff. So it's not even, I'm not even aware of what's coming in and what specifically is leaving, but I know it's happening. And I'm thankful that it's happening through the body and not through some of the other ways that we've gone through, or I've gone through, we've all gone through, you know. The other thing on the vibrating, Jason Estes was on earlier today. He talked about the increase in the vibration. Somebody else wrote about the Merkaba. I don't remember who it was. Somebody a lady wrote a really good piece today. I was reading about it. And again, that's a vibration. 2 or 3 nights ago, my legs from my waist down vibrated for about half an hour, 45 minutes, literally moving, vibrating,
Yeah.
and that was interesting. And I knew it was okay. I just sat with it, I guess.
Right. Well, we have to remember the body knows how to do this.
Yeah.
We just have to get out of the way,
Yeah.
And when I say we, I mean the human aspect, which has held fear and constriction and control. And I really see it as human soul essence. It's the triangle. This is the true Trinity coming through, so it can hold the divine child inside, and the divine feminine masculine are part of balancing that triangle of energy. And so this has been the process many have been going through for however long we've been doing this. However, the quickening, the acceleration, we have no more time here. I always say time is up. So if you've been sleeping through the universe's classes because you've wanted to do other things, it's final exam time. And so no one's immune here. It's happening to everybody and everybody. So everyone, if you're on the planet Earth, you're on the ride. And
Yeah.
I do work with bodies as well. And I, it's interesting because people have been sharing with me, Julie, I have this strange pain in my knee, and it's a stinging pain. Now, they've been using that word stinging. I haven't heard that so much up to now. I've heard throbbing or pulsing or, tight, but they've been using the word stinging, which is fascinating to me because the words we use are all perceptions, correct? Because our limited, let's be real, our English language is fairly limited is when it comes to this universal language, which we are embodying now. But I just found that interesting that they're using the word stinging. So kind of what I got from that is it's like it's such a high frequency that is their perception of the pain of the purge as a stinging sensation. It was just different to me. And then I don't know. I'm just curious. I go, okay.
That's what got us in this thing. Well, but I mean, it's the whole point is it's there and everyone's feeling it. Everyone's feeling it. Everywhere you look, there's a physical representation of the energetic occurrence that's happening. It looks different to everybody, and it looks different on everybody. And no one's going to have the same two. I mean, it seems like the deeper it gets, the more common denominator there is, but the less it's harder to see it in each other. You can say, right. I'm in pain, I'm having it's affecting my body, I'm having old stuff come up, or whatever. It's just like everything. It's like everything. It's like a free-for-all.
It is. It's like the deck of cards have been thrown up in the air, and yeah. But I really feel too, like starting this year, it's becoming more of a individual experience. Not that it hasn't been, but there was a collective undertow, let's say, through 2018. And once we hit these 2019 energies, to me, it feels like, depending upon lots of things, and this is not for comparison, this is just everybody's journey here is unique. And not one is better than the other. It is different because we all are unique. And that's the beauty of the oneness. We can be one, uniquely one together. And really, the mind can't really comprehend that. And so really I say we are letting go of our mind, AKA thinking,
Yeah.
because the mind was intimately connected with thinking, the thinking energy. We're moving into the, obviously operating from the heart. The
Mm-hmm.
heart doesn't think. It knows. It's connected to all. It's a universal receptor.
Yeah.
And so that we're literally going through a brain restructuring.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if
there's
the thoughts. I mean,
Go ahead.
I was going to say that about in regard to the thoughts and that whole part of the mind. To me, it's like it's just happening regardless.
It is.
I mean, there's certain things we can do, like be honest with ourselves or be open to what shadows present themselves or whatever the case is, whatever the universe presents. But at the same time, there's something happening here that's bigger than all of us, and it's happening. It's just happening. You can go kicking and screaming, or you can try to be relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah. And there is resistance is futile here. That's what will create a painful experience.
Yeah.
And well, there's lots of ways we resist, right? You can resist by, when you get a knowing, it's time to let go of something, to go into your humanness. And remember, the human illusion was based on, this is the world according to Julie, 2 core beliefs, which all other beliefs grew out of. And one was, I'm not okay. And the other one was, I won't be okay. Those 2 beliefs created all of our other beliefs. Those are at the root. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm whatever. Or
I'm going to die.
I'm going to die.
I'm going to die. Why am I living? I'm going to die.
And when did you make peace with death, Todd?
When did I make peace with death? I don't know. A long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
A long, long time ago. Probably even before the wake up thing. Actually, I know I did. I made peace with it. I don't know. God, that's a good question. I'd say maybe at least by the 20s.
Wow.
20s.
That's awesome.
But seriously, I never, even like my son, he drowned one day and they had to fly him off in a helicopter. And
oh, wow.
They said he was underwater. He wasn't breathing. And I remember that day because I had to drive across town through rush hour traffic, and I accepted it. I thanked the universe for the 2.5 years we had. And of course it didn't work out that way. It all worked out okay. But that's a good point.
Yeah.
When did you conquer death?
Yeah. Well, and for me, it was shortly after I woke. I mean, I had been awakening, but in 2004, because I remember sitting almost right here and saying I was freaked out about something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I thought I had my life all planned, and now everything fell apart. And then it's almost like I have always kind of had these 2 people inside of me that talked. One was my human, the other one was my soul. And, I said, okay, Julie, take a breath. What's the worst thing that could happen? And a lot of people don't want to go worst case scenario. But to me, that's how you address your fear.
Yeah.
And so I just said, well, I can lose my house, and then I'd be like, okay, well, Julie, if you lost your house, then what? Well, then I have to move in with somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that wasn't so bad. It's like, okay, then what? Well, it got down to, oh my gosh, I could die.
Yeah.
And then when I said that to myself, I said, well, what happens to me when I die? And what came out was, well, I just reemerge into pure positive energy and I get this whole thing.
Yeah.
So after that, like the grips of fear let go so immensely. And it was just like everything became easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if people haven't done that, that's actually a really powerful exercise to do with yourself.
Yeah. I think another big one is when somebody somebody close to you dies.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I first woke up and I was doing a lot of distance healing work with people, it primarily involved a child that they had that had transitioned, like in their teens,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed the prolonged sadness was a detriment, and it was like an egoic hold, and it was really a fear of death. Like, it was clear separation. But I think that's to me, as I've observed people, I've never really had that happen to me where it got a hold of me when somebody close died. But to me, I see where that's really held people back, the illusion of death, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is so important now because so many people are having experiences with disincarnated relatives and such. And there's a
Right.
reason for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And, if it was interesting because I, at some level, knew, even from young, that I wasn't going to die the traditional way this time. I don't know how I knew it. I just knew it. It's like, why can't you just let go? you know, when you're
Hmm.
done, gather your people around, say, hey, it's been a great ride. See ya.
Yeah. Change cars.
Go change your wardrobe. But yeah, there's a lot of people leaving. So this death thing is kind of interesting that we got on this topic because many people are facing this. I know
Yeah.
my mom just passed in January.
Yeah.
And I had a knowing she was going to leave probably 3 or 4 years ago. I knew she wasn't long, and she was perfectly healthy at that point. But I also see, I'm going to share something that has come to Magenta Express and myself about this overall ascension process. And this is a
Uh-huh.
knowing we had. And, I always say, take what makes sense, leave the rest alone, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, but in 2008, it was a very, 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 very significant year. And it was especially the 888 portal was really the end of the world as we knew it. If you can recall back to there, that's when the housing market crashed, right?
You're
Which
talking about 2008? Or
mhm,
talking about, okay. Yeah.
2008. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in June of that month or of that year, there was something that was called Choice Month for all souls everywhere. There was a prime directive put out to all souls everywhere saying, are you done learning from the illusion of Earth School or not? And it
Yeah.
wasn't, either choice was not a worse or a better choice. It was a less ready one by that soul. And so this is how I see it. And of course, I'm kind of like a little kid. I see it like, really simple. But I see we were all handed in our dream time. I did this consciously, but in our dream time or whatever, there was illusionary concepts we all wanted to master here. We all wanted
Hmm.
to experience, what does it really feel like to manipulate? What does
Yeah.
it really feel like to have power over or power under, or be a victim, or be a, conqueror, or all the different concepts. And so, my soul, your soul just goes on, check, check, check. Oh, been there, done that, bought the building and the billboard and the
Hmm.
bumper sticker on that one. Done,
Hmm.
done, done, done. Well, you hand it in. Oh, who knew? I'm done.
Hmm.
And then there were some souls that said, been there, that. Manipulation, I'm not sure I've learned enough from that.
Yeah.
I want to extract some more learning. I'm not going to check that box. And they handed in their thing and they said, I'm not done. Well, again, not a lesser choice, a less ready one. And that I can see that playing out hugely now with souls that made that soul choice of done or not. And you can see it in the eyes, the window of the soul.
Mm-hmm.
If someone made that soul choice, it is my experience that they don't let you in. They're kind of glazed over. Do you know what I mean? You can't really connect with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're just like, and sometimes you speak and they can't track you, or they speak and you can't track them. You're like, is it Charlie Brown's teacher? Yeah. You're like, and so, but to me, it's very helpful to have this information consciously, because then you navigate it differently with people.
Yeah.
Now, I have a lot of people in my family world chose that not done. And at first I felt very sad about that because, and especially I only have 2 kids, one chose done, one chose not. And I had a lot of processing to go through because I'm like, what didn't I do why didn't she choose done? But it wasn't, it was a soul, it's the soul's journey. We know not what each individual soul really wants to do here. It's not up to us to decide and to judge. And again, we have to go back to not a lesser choice, a less ready choice. And really, I really see this, it's this time or next, and we're all going home. We're done. We're done. We're going home. Beginning of the beginning. We're just going to sit there and bask and say, these are my learnings from our school. And we had to have this party until we decide we want to go play. Play again.
I think part of what makes this so interesting now, I think there's some element, I'm just going off my own feelings.
Sure.
And that energetically, energetically, we've already taken care of this. We've already taken care of it. And even though we have a free will, and even though we have a conscious presence, thought, and awareness, the thing is that something's changing in that energy now. Something's different about that conscious energy now. And to me, I don't know. I think there could be an argument made that everything has happened already, has literally happened. Like just a few feet behind us on the linear timeline. And it's really actually.
Okay. Todd was really tired. He decided to leave. Hopefully not permanently. I just said Todd was really tired. He decided to leave.
That's 13 shows in a row that we've had these things happen.
Wow.
It keeps happening. I don't know what it is.
Well,
I think it's really the vibration of the whole vortex that everybody's creating. That's my personal opinion. Yeah.
I would agree. And it doesn't, everything is just, to me, is just curious. I'm just like so unattached to anything. I can have no preference anymore. My soul essence allows me no preference. And so these are some verbiage I use to share what I have remembered. What we are really doing is letting go of form and moving back into shape. The soul is in shape. The human is in form. Mm-hmm. And the mind can only deal with form. It can't do anything with shape because it kind of goes, well, what's that mean? Mm-hmm. And then the heart steps in and goes, oh, I know. I remember. Ooh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But wherever there has been form, rigidity, restriction, that is getting hammered out of us this year. Yeah. And so speaking to that insistent energy, and I agree, Todd, this is a very done deal. We're just playing it out.
Well, I think there's some type of delayed. I mean, I think as the timelines have fallen away, and the one true timeline, the only real reality, really has is just becoming more and more present without any glitches, and it's the physical, the psyche, and the human that's not holding up the show, but that's the last part to integrate, the last part to accept and embrace and become and all that, because it's we're coming from the other end of the spectrum.
Exactly. And I mean, look at how different you feel from yesterday or 2 days. It's like it's it's quantum. It's jumping. It's I can't even. This is an example. So yesterday I got up and I was like, okay, house wants to be vacuumed. And so I got the vacuum out. The cord went under my foot because it wasn't time yet to vacuum. This is how insistent, so I step on it and it hurt. And so then I jumped and then the cord moved. So when I jumped and landed down, I stepped on it again. And all I said to myself is, all right, once is enough, twice is too much. I went and sat down and just breathed.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't time.
Yeah.
Time knows what it's time for. We all can just relax. That's
why my apartment's a mess right now.
Yeah, it's not time to clean it up.
I have to clean it when Morgan comes. Then I'm going to clean it. No, but there's some truth to that. I've noticed that. I've noticed, like, I'm trying to set up a schedule for April, and I really haven't done it. And there's a bunch of people I got to get back with, but it's like something's telling me, not yet. You can do this. Something's got to be aligned. Something's got to settle. And I think it has something to do. This is just another example, though, like you were giving, but it's like it has something to do with pacing myself, taking a day off, how many shows in a day. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all like I can see it. And I know not to force anything at a human level, because I guess going back to what I was saying earlier, what we were talking about, even if you try to force things, because of the fact that we've energetically achieved it and it just has to manifest or be in the physicality, you still can't change it. You still can't change it. It's like trying to vacuum and hurting your feet.
And hurting my foot, my soul,
Yeah.
But yeah, time knows what it's time for. And so, when people ask the question why, which I let go why a long time ago, but a lot of people do, all I say is because it's time. So if something's occurring and you're like, why did that? It's because it's time. It's time to let go of this. It's time to see this. It's time to feel this. It's time to remember this. It is time. And so, the human loves to blame and kind of feel victim, whatever. And I said, if you're going to blame somebody, blame time.
Right?
Just blame time.
Don't blame yourself.
Don't blame yourself. Don't blame anybody else. It's just time.
Yeah.
And, in that, there's such neutrality, because love is neutral. And the love we're talking about is this big love, the living our very essence love. It's returning to neutral. Yeah. And this neutrality is what holds all. And then there's peace.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big deal. I think that there's something to be said too for the soul itself. Like, there's something about the human species, or the human hybrid species, and its relationship to soul, and therefore its relationship to the universe, is a very unique, extraordinary species that's overcome multiple incarnations of whatever that was. All that crap.
You just brought in some high frequency, Todd. I just felt it.
Yeah.
With what you were saying, I'm just like,
Well, no, that's what I've been getting. I've been getting like that we're being observed by our star families for first and foremost because of our relationship to the soul, because of our tenacity, because of our perseverance, because of our revolutionary frequency of coming back and not giving up and not giving up. And because of that energetic force, the universe, as in all things, reciprocates. You know, there's a lot of a theory out there that we're basically AI, biological AI, and I guess you could make a case for anything. But really, no matter if you classify something as artificial or organic, it's all the same goddess substance, and the magic
The
is
one.
in the self awareness of that species or of that individual essence. That's where the magic begins when the awareness of itself begins to acknowledge and then expand. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
what.
Oh, definitely. And just I don't know about you, but I was out and about the other day, and it was like an altered reality. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, they people really felt like so many people felt like they were just on automatic,
yeah,
and like they weren't participating fully in whatever. It's almost like they were extras in a play. And I'm like, oh. And then I engaged with this really bright soul, and then I was like, oh, good. But yeah, this whole thing is weirder than fiction or whatever they say. It is.
truth,
I mean,
truth is stranger than fiction.
yeah.
So if truth is stranger than fiction, fiction's stranger than truth, and fiction is truth. You know, I mean, it's like but I think there is multiple facets to it, and I think it's a time when we can start to peel back the complexities.
Mhm.
Everything's changing, like you said. Everything's changing. Processes, modalities, books, cultural ethos, and just different things that were ingrained in us, labels, roles that we play, are all gone.
Yes.
They're all gone. And for many people that I'm seeing in these circles, people that have been connected for 15 or 20 years, even these things that we have utilized to the maximum efficiency, uh, they're like bush league now. They're like minor league now. Like there's new stuff available, new toys, new energetic technologies available to us in every moment. You
Right.
know?
And every day I wake up and I say, okay, new day, new way, show me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I do. And you can't use yesterday
Mm-mm.
to navigate your now,
Mm-mm.
because now is now.
Yeah.
And now is being put together moment to moment. And unless you're in that moment, present with everything, you miss the magic.
Yeah.
Because the magic comes with the awe and wonder and the curiosity, and that's the innocence of the child.
Yeah.
You know,
It's all back to the innocence.
it is. It
Yeah. It's
really
all.
is.
It is. It really is. The Yeah, like, and then these things that people are seeing. Okay, like that's part of it to me. That's part of the innocence. It's part of, I don't know. It's like the fantasy, the fairy tale. Like I just got hit. I had to lay down. I'm laid down. I come out of it. I'm in a daze, and I look out the window. This just happened to me, and I see this big white hand, like bigger than the window, come out in front of the window and then go back up. And I'm like, okay, I know I saw that. I'm not even going to sit here and say to
Right.
myself, you didn't see that. I know I saw that. I don't know what the hell it was. I don't know what it was, but I guess it'll tell me later.
And see, that's the beauty of not thinking. That's what I say, is you're not attached. You don't really care what it means, what it is. It's enough to know you participated and experienced it. And
Yeah.
when you are to consciously know something, it's there.
Yeah.
It's just there. You don't have to go getting stuff anymore. You don't have to go seeking. Because it just is. Everything just is. And one of the things we talk about is how everything around us has remembered what it's essentially for, what its essence was essentially for, what it was here to do to support us. And everything will be here until it's complete, and then it won't.
Yeah.
Because it's done. It came to do what it came to do. And the same with us.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Feels
But
good.
it does. It feels wonderful. And it's just, there's so much space in this now moment.
Yeah.
And like you said, grace. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I can only do what is there to do.
Yeah.
And not a moment sooner. You know, like you go, well, you know, and you go, oh, I got to read this. I'm like, of course you do, because it's not time until it's time.
Yeah.
And we aren't the directors of this. The universe gets to direct this.
Yeah. Yeah. I do you think April's going to be like March?
We ain't seen nothing yet. Bum, bum, baby, we ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to get more intense.
Mm-hmm.
And it must, because thinking has to get hammered out of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're okay with letting go and not knowing, you know, we'll feel the energies and we'll just keep moving with them. But again, it all goes back to, where are you? Have you been doing your work? Do you go inside? Do you know, I decided a long time ago there was nothing more important in this journey. Nothing in the physical was more important than me interacting with me on this journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, eventually everybody's got to get there. So the noise, if you will, or the chaos or the discombobulation out there is just people playing out their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't mean anything about them. I mean, at one point I was there too.
Yeah, that's right.
So
and certainly it doesn't mean anything to you unless it makes you feel uncomfortable or makes you come up with some, you know, sarcastic, you know what I mean? I mean,
are you sharing a personal reference here?
Well, I used to be real sarcastic, so that's what I would do. And I started to realize you can't be sarcastic anymore.
No.
You can't even joke about it, because many a true word spoken jest. It's still a line of separation or superiority, inferiority. You know, you're either putting someone above you or below you.
And the sarcasm was a self-defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You know, it was us defending ourselves in a way through laughter or joking. But it's still a separation.
Yeah.
You know, this being so conscious with everything, and that means every word we speak, every interaction we have, anything. You know, one of the things I was given a couple weeks ago, which has been super helpful as far as speed of clearing, I heard, do the love bubble. And I'm like, ooh, good. That sounds like fun. The love bubble. And basically it's the golden white light source, whatever. You put any person, situation, belief, whatever, and you just set them in there. And then I just close my eyes and breathe until I see it like effervescent bubbles, like it just dissolves.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, you bring them, you don't think about them, you bring them through your awareness again if you want to check and see if it's gone, but it's so quick. Yeah. And there's nothing left but love. It's the quickest way to return everything back to neutral, to love.
I like that. I like that because it reflects the energy of, there's been quite a few healers come on lately that talk about how they're getting healed every time they do a healing. Every time they have a session, they're clearing something in themselves. So if you think about the bubble and you bring, him who hurt you or her who talked about you, whatever the case is, bring them in the bubble, who are you really clearing, them or you? Right?
Yeah. And we're really freeing both, right?
True.
We're freeing both. Yeah. And also, I was told we're not to call ourselves healers anymore.
Yeah.
Because we need upgraded language now. I say a holer. I say healer/holer because we still have to bridge that for people. But all we are is reflecting wholeness now and holiness. Yeah. And so, we already are perfect.
Yeah. Nothing to heal.
Yeah, we just forgot. And we're just
I think it's more of removing distortion now. Mm-hmm. If we look at it that way, it becomes less painful. There's less judgment, self-judgment, self-deprecation, judgment of others. If we look at it and say that we were part of a distortion, we actually made it. We're the AAA team. We made it.
Yeah. Really? Oh,
definitely.
Definitely. And we stood the course.
Yeah.
Stood the course. And one thing I share with clients is your love of self must be larger than anyone's thinking.
Yeah.
Because bottom line, if anybody says anything or blah, 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 it's because they're thinking. They're not being. Being, somebody that's in their heart, doesn't say those things or do those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if your focus, nothing external is bigger than your field. Mm-mm. It can be, and we've all been there and we gave power over, but we've learned this lesson now. And now we know that we are sovereign and whole, like you said, holy and whole. And nothing is bigger than us. Nothing.
No. And there's, the human has played in perceived need, right? Mm-hmm. And I want this, I want that. Well, basically, I feel like the universe is coming in and saying, no. And then it says, no, KNOW. You are in a time of living now.
Yeah.
And you must live with the timing that is meant to be.
Yeah, that's right.
And so then, again, there's so much freedom in that because I don't know you, when my human got to hear my soul taking over, it was like, whew, I'll gladly sit in the back seat. You drive, Zoom.
I think mine fought a little bit. I think a lot of them fight a little bit. I don't know. Mine's been more like, I don't know. It's weird because you feel that higher presence that's you, and you still have these human things playing out. We've been talking about the last couple of shows where you've got the two extremes playing out. Mm-hmm. Like you got the extreme, the connection with light or the connection with source is moving so fast, but on the other end of the spectrum, you've got all these Mickey Mouse, junior high, drama-based, little weird 3D patterns and behaviors that are distorted in illusion playing out, and you're sitting there watching them, experiencing them, and wondering, why am I seeing them, and all that. It's weird. It's like
it is. Don't you feel like you're looking above I'm watching myself a lot from, I don't know, I see myself here.
I have a conscious thought, and it's when I start to get in balance, I start to figuratively and literally think people are watching me. But if I stay in a place where I'm only watching me, then everything's okay.
Right.
I mean, like, everything's okay. I don't know if you've ever, it's a good analogy, if you've ever smoked pot. You ever smoke pot and you get really blazed and you walk into a mall like, oh my God, everybody's looking at me, man. but it's the same energetic explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in that state or any state, whether it's from cannabis or from something that just happened to you, or a high from getting off a merry-go-round, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding that if I can just, if I'm becoming conscious enough to think that others are looking at me or thinking about me or whatever the case is, and that gets loud enough, I can go into, I'm the only one watching me. And then I
Mm-hmm.
do get into the space of balance.
Right. Well, and you really don't care. I mean, that's part of, for anybody that's not quite in that space yet, there is a place where you don't care. You don't care what people think. You
No.
don't care. You don't care how something looks. You don't care. Because if this has spoken to you, if you have honored this,
Yeah.
nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Because really, our separation was all the times we didn't listen to this beautiful heart.
Yeah.
That's what created it in the first place.
Yeah.
So I remember walking, this happened to me about 2 years ago. I have lived in this area, in this house for a long time, 27 or 28 years, which is quite a long time to put down roots.
Yeah. Roots.
And so I have there's this beautiful lake. It's called Crystal Lake that I live by. And it has been as much part of my journey as anything else. That's where I did most of my healing work and processing and all that stuff. But I was walking to the lake like I have done for the last 27 years. And all of a sudden, I had this awareness. All versions of me were lined up next to me. Any version of me that had ever walked that in that simultaneous moment was there with me.
Wow. That's powerful.
It was.
I can resonate with that. I know, not the exact thing, but I can resonate with that feeling that you got.
Yeah.
I often look back now and I wonder about the early, what I would call like divine episodes or dimensional experiences that I had alone. The ones we always had alone, and there was only us in the universe, and you don't tell people about half of them, and think you're crazy or they think you're crazy. But I often think about some of these things that happen and wonder if they were all me. Like all these essences, I guess ultimately they are, but I'm talking about like experiences where, like, I remember I used to walk the grid in Houston, and every step I took, there'd be a 12-foot angel planted, and I have to think, was that me? Was that me doing that or what? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. So you sit there and ponder like I do, like just have these interesting ponderings that, I don't know.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it just expands my awareness. Like, what if it's true? What if it is? And then in that wondering state, the truth seeps in.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. I will share. I had an angelic experience once. I called it at Kmart. I called it my blue light special. Because I had it. I mean, I was at the end of my marriage, but I was just basically screaming out saying, something's got to give here. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
And so I was putting together these binders. I look at the words, these binders for this committee I was on, and I'd run out of separators. Now, this is quite the foreshadowing, right? Of getting divorced, feeling bound, and then being separated. So I go to, I go, kids, I'm going to Target, blah, blah, blah. And they go, no problem. And all of a sudden I end up at Kmart instead. Just never usually went there. But I suppose I thought nobody's hardly there. I can buzz in, buzz out, no big deal. Well, I walk in there and I'm in this binder aisle. And out of nowhere, comes this presence. That's all you can say. It's a presence.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden was this beautiful black man with blue eyes that glistened.
Mm.
And he said, "Excuse me, I just want to let you know that God hears your prayers." And I said, "Oh, I know he does." And I was kind of caught off guard. And he hands me this card. And I looked down again, and then he goes, "And I want to let you know that you're a beautiful woman, and your husband doesn't know how lucky he is to have you as a wife." And I went like this. I went, "Well, I needed to hear that today." And I turned, of course, gone, right?
Yeah.
Gone. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point, my life was such crazy making that it's like whatever part of me knew I needed proof, right? And so I looked down at this card, and all it is the world, and it says, God answers your prayers or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. And that card was there. And I came home and told my 15-year-old son, and of course I've been having stuff like this, and he's playing his Nintendo or something. He goes, he didn't even look up at me. He goes, "Well, Mom, that was an angel." Like, duh.
Yeah. They know. They're expert.
And then that card disappeared when I no longer required that proof.
Yeah. So where can people find you again? And by the way, I just read that thing you wrote. I couldn't see it when you sent it because I couldn't see it. I really appreciate that. Now, was that by your hand? Because the name at the bottom. You go by on that
Emerald
site.
Speaks.
Emerald Speaks. Okay. And the name of the page is what?
It's Heart Essential Art and Simple Alchemy.
That's right.
And so that, like, you wake up in the morning. I always keep a notebook by my bed, and before I even open my eyes, I just start writing, and that's what was there.
Wow.
So do you want to read
it? Yeah, I can pull it up. Hang on a second. And so on that site, you guys do sessions. You and your partner both do sessions. Right?
She works more behind the scenes with the galactic and cosmic and pulling in that information, and then I disperse it. Okay. So, she puts herself out as Magenta Express, and on that site, there's a place for soul sessions. I am offering a free webinar tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Central Time, just to kind of have people go through talk about these emotions. What's happening right now? What can we do to support ourselves in the best possible way to navigate these April energies? So if anybody's interested, they can go to Heart Essential Art and under the free tab, and the webinar sign up is there.
That's a Facebook page, right?
Yes. And if you just type in Simple Alchemy, I think it comes up too.
Simple Alchemy. Mm-hmm. Free webinar tomorrow, 7 Central?
Yes.
Okay, so here's this little piece you wrote this morning. ES Emerald Speaks. That's you.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In the light, let's see. In the light of one, Soulogy has come, brings souls together, reuniting as one. Love is the common factor. There can be no more distractor. Many human faces between all the spaces, honoring what we came to do, sharing what we know to be true. Room for all, letting illusion fall. Love is our connector. Soulogy is the reflector. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for that.
You are welcome. And thank you so much for what you are doing and participating, and you and Morgan, and just holding the space for this, because we know not what we do. Yeah.
And the best is yet to come.
And the best is yet to come, indeed. So I just thank you from the bottom of my heart to connect with you and everyone. Thank you for being on the call today. And heart hugs to everybody. We're here.
We'll get together again soon.
Okay.
All right. You take care, Julie.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you for